Welcome back on segment 2 of Sun Devil Extra, brought to you by Spring Hill Suites, Phoenix, Scottsdale. Of course, Greg Powers joining me here at Mullet Arena. Coach, first year of the NCHC just wrapped up for your regular season, finishing at least tied for second, no worse than that, depending on results this coming weekend. Overall, what were your expectations coming in, and how did it live up to it?
I mean, our expectations were to compete every night, and go into every game expecting that we absolutely could have success. And that's exactly what we did. I mean, the goal was to host playoff hockey in Mullet at the start of the year and prove, the doubters wrong that picked us 8th out of 9th. And I think we comfortably did that.
You come across as a big-time believer in anything that you do, whether it's the recruiting, bringing everybody in, building this place, Mullet Arena, where we are right now, of course. But coming into a season in what was billed as the toughest conference in college hockey, to go in and beat Denver on the road when they're on a 21-game heater, overall, it feels like your team feeds off the belief. Where does that come from? I mean,
it's just confidence in everything that you do, right? And I mean, I guess you either have inner belief and belief in yourself or you don't, and it's something that I think as a leader of the program and a head coach, if you don't have genuine belief in what you're doing in the direction that you lead, your staff and your players, then you're pretty much up, what's creek. So, it's just how I am, and it's just like if we ever play pickleball, I'm going to kick the crap out of you.
Probably true. More to come on that, of course. How important is that belief going to be, knowing that you guys need a run in the NCHC tournament, where you guys in the pairwise, and overall to cap off this great season with another great moment? Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be just, now we literally just have playoff hockey in front of us. So it's exciting. Is it frustrating that we are where we are in the pairwise? It is. I mean, at the end of the day, that we need to look in the mirror. We had plenty of opportunities to finish games that we didn't finish in the regular season, and had we finished those, we'd probably be 8th. But we are where we are, and the computer doesn't like the NCHC this year, and any other year where you're locked for second place in the regular season in this league, you are locked as pretty much a 2 seed.
Sure.
So it's frustrating, but the good news is that we have everything in front of us. There's not a team in the league that we have not beaten, not one that we haven't had success against, and that we feel like we can't beat in a big game, and so we're excited to prove that.
Yeah, for those fans that are kind of frustrated with the pairwise as well and are still trying to figure out exactly what that is and how things are affected, what, I guess, is missing from the resume of the conference that has truly affected it? Because it feels like it really loves Hockey East.
Yeah, I think, if you look at the NCHC's games against Hockey East, we have had success. Personally, we obviously went into Providence and got swept. Unfortunately, went there without 3 or 4 of our top guys, but Providence went to North Dakota and lost, and BU went to North Dakota and lost. Denver hosted Northeastern and swept them. They went to Maine and split. So head-to-head, it hasn't been really bad. I think where the conference RPI is suffered is, having Augustana go on the road and sweep CC, having them go on the road and sweep Omaha, losing at home to Lindenwood. Stuff like that hurts a conference's RPI, and it's good moving forward. I think our fans and everybody that supports us now knows how important it is to support the NCHC in non-conference play, because it benefits all of us.
How much scoreboard watching is there going to be for you this weekend? Of course, teams directly in front of you. Within striking distance, of course, Penn State at Michigan in a best-of-3 series. Lowell plays New Hampshire in 2 games. And, of course, the rest of the conference slate that has to pan out. Well, how much are you going to focus on that, or is it just going to be we play with whatever cards we're given next weekend?
Well, it's both, right? I mean, obviously, there's going to be – when we're – the RPI is still – between 13 and 16, so slim, we could be idle and move up 2 spots very easily this weekend. If New Hampshire splits with Lowell and Michigan takes care of business at home, then we'll move in front of both of those teams. So if we go into playoffs at 14, we're on the inside of the bubble, hosting a playoff series, and that's where you want to be. But at the end of the day, we're going to play who we play. I think as far as playoffs go, it's exciting. We have the possibilities of playing Colorado College, Duluth, or St. Cloud, and to be able to sit back on an idle week, get our guys healthy, get them rested, get their heads right in every way for our first playoff run here is a huge luxury. While those teams all play their rivals and beat the hell out of each other. Hopefully they beat the hell out of each other all weekend. So we're in a great spot. I couldn't have asked for a bye week in a better spot in our schedule. And it's refresh and reset and recharge and go from there.
You mentioned playoff hockey here at Mullet Arena. First playoff hockey played in the Valley since 2012 playoffs, when the then Phoenix Coyotes hosted a couple of rounds, especially for the fans having something to culminate and bring everybody together as in a hockey sense. How proud are you to provide that for everybody?
Really proud. And again, that was our number one goal and our only goal that we set at the start of the year. And generally, like I said previously, if you're hosting a playoff series in this league, you're in the top 4, you're probably in a really good place in the pairwise where you don't have to even worry about the NCAA tournament. So that was connected. But I think with the community losing the NHL and the growth of our program and how great the atmosphere is in there all year, really for every game, especially the last 2 series against Denver and Western, what we're going to have in the playoffs to give our community intense playoff hockey at the highest level of collegiate hockey is something really cool.
Yeah, tickets are on sale. You can find those over on sundevils.com, of course. One guy that has really not burst onto the scene per se, but really turned things around, and it's finally going in his direction. Cullen Potter, we knew the potential he had coming in. You could tell with the way he skates and everything he does outside of the counting stats that he's a fantastic player. Now he's popped, had back-to-back games with 2 goals over the past weekend. What has he done to continue through it, and what has he brought to the team?
Yeah, he's driven the play for us all year. And his speed and the way he competes and tracks and applies back pressure without the puck. Everything he does with his speed drives the play in the direction that you want it to go. And so he's making an impact on every game, whether he's scoring or not. I think the thing with him, young kid, it's hard to score in college hockey. Goaltending's better. Time and space is limited. Playing against, in some cases, kids 8 years older than him. And so it's one of those things. Like, I think it shows how good he is, how good he's going to continue to get, and it's starting to go in for him. The amount of the lack of puck luck that Cullen's had this year is crazy. Whether it be missing tap-ins, whether it be hitting posts, whatever it may be. I mean, he has 13 goals. He could easily have 20 easily. So the best is yet to come with Cullen Potter here at Arizona State, and it's been a fun journey to be a part of. A
guy that has been there all season with the production, the NCHC conference leader in points, Artem Schlane. We'll chat with him here in a moment on Sun Devil Extra. But a veteran really in college hockey, hard-nosed guy, 200-foot player. When he came in, of course, coming off of an injury, you never know what you're going to get from a player. But what you have gotten for him, he's been a great example on that top line. Yeah,
he's everything you want in a player. You win with kids like Artie. I think I was in a really bad mood the first 6 games because he wasn't in our lineup, and I knew how big of a piece he was going to be to our success. And now everybody that knows me in my personal life understands why I was so grumpy for that month that he wasn't playing for us. So because he just his presence alone makes everybody better. But he's a great player. He's a great leader. He's that epitome of those kids. And we have really a few of them this year between Kerwin and Artie and Pavicic and Noah Beck. That they're the kind of kids you wish you could have them for longer than a year, and Artie's certainly in that category. He's an unbelievable player. He's an even better person, and we're just thrilled that we got to spend the time with him that we did.
Yeah, he's part of a great senior class, and specifically there are 3 guys that have been here their entire collegiate careers. Benji Eckerly in his 5th season, of course, but the other 2 guys as well, Ty Murchison and the captain Ethan Schmaggy, kind of a signal of the end of a chapter, the final page of the first chapter of Sun Devil hockey. To go on a run like this, have playoff hockey at an arena that wasn't even no shovels in the ground when they committed. To have those guys go through this, what does that mean to you as their coach?
It's awesome. I'm so happy that they get to go through this, and heartbroken Benji doesn't get to go through it on the ice, but he's still a big part of what we're doing. And I think, I said it today in our press conference, like, just to have Merch and Schmags be able to go out on that ice in front of what's going to be a crazy crowd and a playoff atmosphere in this building is really special. They committed here. Benji committed here back when, conference affiliation was just a dream, and it was we still have to prove ourselves and do this, and this to get into a league that we want to get into. And they were a part of wanting to create that vision and make it a reality. And now that reality is here. We're living it, and they're living it. And Benji was a part of the last kid that was a part of the all COVID season on the road. So 3 of our last founding fathers, if you will, that are a huge part of what we're doing this year. And we want to extend this season as long as we can with those guys.
We'll talk about you for a second and really how you got to Arizona State. Another one of the great Sun Devil alums that is leading a Sun Devil athletics program. But how does a baseball, hockey guy in Indianapolis North Central High School get to Arizona State? Yeah,
it was back in 1995, before any of these kids were even born, that I came out here. It's a crazy story. I'd never been west of the Mississippi, being an Indiana boy. And I went to a tournament called the Chicago Showcase. It was everybody's all-state teams from high school back in the day. And Gene Hammett, who was the coach here, saw me play, and I played really well. And I was just going to go play. I didn't want to play junior hockey. I wanted to go straight to school. I was going to go to St. Mary's in Minnesota, or one of those schools that were recruiting me at the time. And then Gene called and made a good pitch and said, hey, why don't you think about coming out and playing club hockey at Arizona State? And I'm like, well, worst case, I'd love to go visit, and talk my mom into buying me a flight and coming out here by myself and staying with the guy on the team. And I think in about 30 minutes, I went to a payphone. This is before cell phones. Called her and said, Mom, there's no way I'm not coming here. There's no way I'm not coming here. So, obviously never expected it to evolve into what it is now. And there's a lot of other things that has gone into, the path that has led me here and us here today. But without that call from Gene Hammett, without my mom letting me get on a plane and coming west of the Mississippi for the first time, this probably doesn't happen.
The butterfly effect of all of that, if that didn't happen, of course. And now the Sun Devils are hosting playoff hockey in 2 weekends from now for the first time again at any level for Valley hockey since 2012. That's got to be something special for you. Yeah. Coach, thanks for your time. We'll chat with Artem Schlane coming up in a moment on Sun Devil Extra.